So this is kind of the new car. Not really a new car, but it's new for these videos. And I have to put my phone in like this little crevice area for it to like stand up. It's not the most flattering angle, and these things are kind of annoying. They're like super bright in my face, but they don't look bright on the camera. It's just a very annoying setup, but this is how it's going to be for now. I haven't made a video in a while, and I want to talk about this thing that I heard about today, which I thought was extremely interesting, and it can be taken in a bunch of different facets. It was a man talking about, well, in this case, making money, right? Like obtaining wealth, and how people make excuses. Now, he said he was talking about politics specifically. So if you're a political guy, this might be super interesting. I like politics, so that's why I found it interesting. He said that there's the left wing and the right wing, but people tend to forget that those two wings are on the same bird. And what he means is that a lot of the middle class, and I'm not dissing the middle class because I am in fact middle class, a lot of the middle class will make excuses about how the opposing political force is the reason why they don't have like income or wealth, right? And they use those as excuses, like, oh, the left wing is screwing me over, or the right wing is screwing me over, or like these political policies are making my life harder to obtain money, when in the actuality of things, both of these wings are on the same bird. And once you look at it in that way, it's much easier to just be like, okay, I don't give a fuck about any of this, and I just gotta make money. I just gotta do my thing. It's funny because I watched two videos, and it wasn't like back to back. They were two separate videos that were suggested to me about this one ideology, well, specifically about politics, but I think it bleeds into a lot of facets, and how like the psychology of someone works, because I fell victim to that for so long, making excuses, even though those excuses might have been noble, and a lot of my peers are like, oh yeah, well, that makes sense, like you were doing something good, like you were aiding people or whatever the case may be, but I was still stunting my own growth, if that makes sense. And I think a lot of people fall into that trap where they're stuck blaming the opposition for their incompetence. I don't want to sound like an asshole, but I find it so true. You can put the onus on anything. Truly, you can put the onus on anything, and you just won't succeed, or you won't get to where you want to go. And a lot of that onus also falls on fear, right? It's like, oh, I wanted to start this company, but I didn't want to invest this money in case I failed. Well, fun fact, everyone fails. Some people get lucky and they don't fail the first time, they don't fail the second time, they don't fail the third time, but they'll fail the fourth time. Like everyone fails, and everyone tries things, and everyone falls and gets back up. And it's like riding a bike. When you first rode a bike, you fell off, but then you saw everyone else riding bikes, and you were like, wow, that looks super fucking cool. Let me continue riding a bike until I can ride a bike like these people. And that's how you're supposed to look at everything in life. And it's so cliche, and everyone says, oh, when you fall down, you get back up. But once you look at it from a standpoint of excusing not excusing yourself, that makes absolutely no sense, but using excuses to validate yourself, right? Like, oh, I'm not going to start this company because putting $10,000 into this company is irresponsible. Is it irresponsible? Is it? Like, ask yourself the question, like, is it truly irresponsible if you learn something from it? There's another saying that I heard, actually, this one was in one of the same videos as the last one, like the political spectrum and the bird thing. It was, you walk through a field and you step in a pile of shit, right? You're like, oh, that sucks. I stepped in a pile of shit. But then you go deeper into the field, you turn around, you go back home, and you step in the same pile of shit. Well, then you're just retarded, right? Making the same mistake twice is a bit redundant, but making the mistake once is just part of the process, right? You step in that pile of shit, you know exactly where it is. When you turn around, don't step back in it, because then it's just pure stupidity. And I think that is also just a great piece of advice. For instance, today I was speaking to a colleague, and she's a really, really good person. I love talking to her. She's a really, really good person. And I said some crass things. I didn't mean to offend her. I really, truly didn't mean to offend her. But I'm a very defensive person. And I'm not trying to make an excuse here. I shouldn't be a defensive person. But, because of the trials and tribulations that I went through in my life, I've kind of grown this, like, very defensive personality, which I'm trying to, like, overcome. But I guess I was just a bit defensive, and I said some things in a manner that weren't really polite, you know? And I could have definitely asked these questions in a different light and in a different way. And I could tell that she really was not impressed with the way I said it. And right now, I'm trying to, because I don't want to just like not talk to her, because it's just, that'd be awkward. First of all, we're colleagues. But secondly, I really enjoy her as a person, and I'd like to get to know her better. So I'm trying to develop this way in my head where it's like, okay, do I just like kind of stand back for a second and analyze the situation and be like, okay, how do I not step in that dog shit again, right? How do I go back home through the field and avoid the dog shit, or the pile of shit? Sorry, because I if I go into crass again, or I don't take time to think about this, I might just step in the same shit again and further our relationship, whatever that may be. It could further, regardless. I could think about this for like 5 days and then be like, okay, this is the perfect response. I think this is the perfect response, and go completely 180. And she's still like, you know what, like, I'm not really buying it. You offended me, or whatever the case. And it would stay a separated relationship, right? Or like, there's a word for that. There's actually a terminology for that. I just can't think of it at the moment. So despite me thinking about it and trying to do the best thing, I could in turn also step in the shit. But in that way, it's not the same shit, right? It's like I tried something else and I failed at it again. So, it all depends on how you look at it. But all I know is, don't repeat the same thing over and over and expect different results. There's like this common misconception that people think that that's the definition of insanity. It's not the definition of insanity. But yeah, don't repeat the same thing over and over to expect different results. Trying new avenues, trying new things is always the best. And going back to the bird scenario, where like the political spectrum is a bird and not just two wings, continuously blaming your opposition and being like, the liberal government is, fucking me over. The conservative government is fucking me over. Oh, people who voted Bloc Québécois, for example, because I'm Canadian, shit their votes away, or whatever the case may be. And, stop blaming just stop blaming the opposition, because it's clearly not getting you anywhere. Just take the lemons that you have and make lemonade. You know what I mean? Making these excuses is not going to get you anywhere. And I truly believe that. Whether it was the Liberals or the Conservatives that won, the last Canadian election, the housing market would still be in a crisis right now. You'd still have $2 million trailers in Vancouver. You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to change despite the government. So what are you going to do about it? You want a nice house? Go out and earn it. Don't sit there and, bitch about the government and bitch about how the opposing government that you don't enjoy is screwing you over, and find a way to unscrew yourself without the excuse of like political insider, or that's not really the word, like political prowess, maybe. I don't know. It's 1:26 in the morning. I'm kind of just rambling. I thought this was a great video idea. I'll sit back down with this video and watch it over and be like, damn, am I high? But no. Don't make excuses. Try new avenues. And don't forget that all these problems in the world that, may seem like are weighing you down, in the grand scheme of things, they might not be weighing you down as much as you think they are. They might just be little weird obstacles to go by, but not these big, tremendous events. Anyway, thank you for watching this video. I hope it made sense. Hope it opened ears or whatever. And you know, I used to say this at the end of all my videos. I used to say practice safe sex, and I think I should bring that back. I think I should bring it back. Practice safe sex. Okay, have a good night.